Could it also have been, well, with another less known European culture?
Could have happened.
It could have been, yeah. I mean, that was the thing we were sort of thinking about when we wrote this new album, Cave Rave, was, you know, do we still love this thing, and is there anything unfinished about it? And we realized, you know, when we went out there and sort of thought again about what had happened to us, you know, what had been given to us, you know, there was like a sense that, yes, we needed to like continue this opera that we'd sort of become a part of.
When did you decide, well, yes, we have to continue?
Well,
What happened?
When we were ready to write the album, we were like, well, what do we do? Do we just start writing songs? And we were like, well, let's just go out there and actually spend a decent amount of time, you know, coming up with ideas. And it was there where we started talking about, you know, thinking about all the things we'd been discussing between us for the last couple of years, and the sort of higher sort of spiritual or like intellectual or philosophical viewpoints that we felt that we were coming to, less about like the specifics of Basque culture and Basque music, even though those were still part of it, more about like, you know, how did they get to be where they are, and how did we all get to be where we are? Why are we all spread out across the earth in this kind of strange fashion, and why do people from this place look a bit like people from this place? And, you know, like ideas of like deeper heritage and being human, you know, like one language must have been evolved from another. And, you know, that was the thing about the Basque language, it seemed to be evolved from no other place, but that's not to say that it wasn't invented by humans. You know, language is one of the great sort of triumphs of humanity, to be able to communicate ideas without actually experiencing things. But we wanted to go back to a time, you know, when experience was, you know, was the main thing, and that was something, you know, why language came into being, to describe, you know, the unknown and to describe the impossible sort of nature of being human. You know, it's like it's a great mystery to all of us still, even though we can communicate so clearly about it. And so that was part of what Cave Rave is all about, like getting back to that raw state where, you know, you were in a cave maybe singing or playing a rhythm and hearing the echo and being sort of transfixed by it, and trying to turn your visions, you know, into something that could be remembered and recorded and learnt from by other people, you know.
Were there certain caves maybe that you visited over there?
Sorry?
Were there certain caves that you visited over there? You saw maybe some sort of rural drawings or
yeah,
something?
I mean, the house we were staying in was like an old house with a sort of basement and stone walls and right next to a brook. I mean, it's not really...
How old? Do you know?
The house?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it looks pretty old. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I've visited like old like churches when we were out there, and like you know, valleys. And I wouldn't say we actually went into a cave, you know, but we've read a lot about that, and, you know, historically very interesting, you know, thing that all these cave paintings seem to be found in very acoustically resonant places in the caves. So which suggests that art and music have always been kind of intertwined, and people, you know, presumably trying to achieve different altered states of consciousness whilst in these caves, and trying to, you know, escape, you know, what was essentially like a hand-to-mouth living, you know, trying to raise the bar of what their mind could possibly achieve. You know, it's like, that's interesting for us.
What do you think is the role of music, has been the role of music, well, if you go back to that time period, you say the cave period. Yeah. What was the role of music back then?
I think even like the role of music can be, you know, it almost triggers memories. You know, if you can do a memorable melody or something like that, you know, that could be a call to, you know, a call to arms, or a call to celebrate, or, you know, something to, you know, even to entertain back in the old days. You know.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, I think music was also used in its repetitive nature, like to sort of induce sort of trances for spiritual means sometimes, you know, to play the repetitive drum rhythm while, you know, while in a cave maybe, trying to sort of, you know, go deeper into one's consciousness and psyche, and to analyze, and to different rituals have always been based around like musical, either drum rhythms or chants, like. So, but that's part of the thing that we're really interested in. What was the role of music, back then, and was it just melodic or was it just rhythmical, and what were people doing in these caves,
I think as well it must have been like a great mystery music, like discovering like a chord, a perfect, even a diatonic chord or a three-part harmony or something like that, three people singing different notes to come together to form something more beautiful like that. That element of teamwork, and these things must have been amazing revelations to people. And there's stuff all through Eastern writings and things about the octave and the that even that whole idea of 8 notes that and different. I don't know what I'm not so great with the terminology, but the
Scales.
The different degrees within the scale and things like that. It must have been one of the great sort of intellectual pursuits, and particularly in Eastern philosophies, it's central. The idea of the octave and the 7 chakras, and all this sort of thing, different colors relating to different tones, and even spiritual. Each note, within the singable, audible scale has a significance, for these cultures, and understanding all that from our modern perspective is really, it's interesting, it's intriguing. But I mean, how they came up with it in the first place, or whether it somehow existed already. To sing a note is quite a universal thing. It's happening all around the world in different places.